So first question is, can you tell us a little bit about your career and how you ended up from Chicago to LA and East Los High?
Gotcha. So born and raised in Chicago, I've always been a music guy. I grew up singing. Ever since I even had my first memory, was singing with a karaoke machine. I was in talent shows ever since I was preschool all the way through 8th grade. I went to Lincoln Park High School. I was a music major there. I was in 4 different choirs. Music was always something I was passionate about, and I always wanted to do. I always knew that I wanted to make it in music, but being that I'm from Chicago, I grew up watching movies and I grew up watching TV shows. I thought somebody was going to come and find me singing on the corner and be like, "You're a star. I'm going to make you big," like Britney Spears or something like that, like how it used to happen in the 90s. It wasn't so much like that. So I remember how it all started was I ended up auditioning for this one karaoke contest. I was in my sophomore year in high school, and the winner got to fly to Los Angeles, to Hollywood, to open up for Hilary Duff's new movie, Raise Your Voice, on the red carpet. I got to represent Chicago. There was a winner from Texas, a winner from Washington, D.C., and a winner from Florida, and a winner from California. The winner of that got $1,000. I didn't win that, but I got to fly out to Hollywood. And so I'm there. I'm at this movie premiere. I'm meeting all these actors and all these people, and I met the director of the movie, and they're like, "Hey, you were that one kid that was singing up there on the stage." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me, you know." He's like, "Do you have a demo?" And I was like, "What's a demo?" I didn't know what that was. So I came back to Chicago. I found the producer. I started writing my own music ever since then, since I was a sophomore in high school. And I was in choirs all these years, and I started writing. Then my senior year of high school, my mother ended up finding an audition through Craigslist that she was actually finding my father some work on Craigslist because he has his own construction business. She was actually trying to find him some work, and this random audition came by for the to be the new formation of Menudo. You know, the reincarnation of Menudo, the old Ricky Martin group and stuff. So my mom ended up telling me about the group. She's like, "Bobby, they're having worldwide auditions. They're going to Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Dallas, Miami, but they're not coming to Chicago. Do you want to go?" At first, I was like, "Hell no. Ma, I'm not no boy band. Bye, NSYNC. I'm not none of that. No." She's like, "Bobby, what's the worst that can happen? Let's just go. It will take a little 2-day vacation. We'll stay with your tia. If you don't make it, you don't make it. We got a good little vacation." I think my mom took that for that day. She flew me out there, and I ended up making, it was a reality show on MTV called Making Menudo. I made it to the top, to the top like 40, top 20, top 15. Then I made the group, and we were signed to Sony Epic Records. I was in the group for a few years, for a couple of years. Then when the group disbanded, I moved to New York. I had my first audition ever, and it was a Starbucks commercial. I booked that, and then I started booking more works in the commercial. I booked my first film called We the Party. A couple more independent guest stars, co-stars on some small shows, Rizzoli and Isles, Modern Family. And then, coming out of a group from like Menudo, we were signed to Sony Epic Records. We were on a country tour. We were doing so much. We were on every tour from everybody, Chris Brown to Mario to everybody. From that, I went back to a regular humble living. I moved to LA. We had some rough times, and I had to work at a Starbucks for 2 years. And I had been working there, having fans coming in saying, "Oh my God, can I have your autograph?" And I'm like, "Yo, so do you want to smoke a frappuccino or what, man?" So like it was humbling coming back from that. But I come from Chicago. My mentality is I gotta survive no matter what. I'll work at McDonald's if I have to, but I know my talent and I know what I want to be in my life, and I'm not gonna sit and wait for somebody to give it to me. I'm gonna make sure I have my job. I'm supporting myself. I'm able to eat, but I'm going to still chase after my dream no matter what. No matter how tired I am, I'm going to make sure this works. So after 2 years of just working, striving, taking the morning shift from 3:30 a.m. to going to sleep at 7 p.m. just so I can record in the studio and get weekends off to record and go to my auditions and bookings, X Factor came. X Factor, I did not want to do it at all. For the simple reason that I had already had a deal before. I was already with Sony Epic Records. This show makes it seem like they found you mopping the floor at Starbucks, and it made it seem like they discovered you. Like, no, I already had a following. I already done this. I don't want to do it. So for months I turned it down. But the vocal coach on the show was a Puerto Rican cat. His name was Little Eddie. He He kept nagging me for months and months. Come on, bro, we need you to audition. We need Latinos to audition for the show. I know you can do it, man. What's the worst that can happen? You don't make it. I'm like, yo, that's the worst that can happen. If I don't make it, what are you talking about? And I'm going to not make it in live TV. He's like, come on, just go do it. So finally, after a few months of him like being really persistent, I went and I auditioned. When I went to that audition, man, I had no intentions of making it. I've never seen a Latino on that show, ever. Especially no one that looked like me. So I thought to myself, they're not going to pick me. I'm definitely not what this show ever looks for. So I went and I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be performed in front of thousands and thousands of people in this arena. So I'm going to walk in, I'm going to kill my performance, and I'm going to walk away with everybody as fans, and I'm going to shout my Twitter, my Facebook, my website, and everything, and I'm going to walk away with those people as fans because I know they're not going to pick me. So I went in, I walked right around the judges, I did my thing, and blah, blah, blah. All right, everybody, follow me on Instagram, blah, 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 blah. And then I walked back around, and they're like, Simon's like, I actually love everything about you, Carlito. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? What? And all four of the judges picked me. And from there, we went on to the next round, you know, from the top 3 to top 100 to the top 40 to the top 20 to the top 14, top 12. We went all the way to the finale, man. And I represented my people. I was representing my culture. I was representing everybody from the struggle, everybody from the youth, everybody from the low and middle class. You know, just everybody, just to show that it's actually doable. It's actually possible. There's a regular kid who came from a regular life, who grew up having a couple jobs as a kid, who just had a dream and aspirations to be something bigger than what society has given you. And here he is doing it. Then after X Factor, man, I never turned my back. I said, you know what? I'm going to represent my people, and I'm going to do this the right way. And I've been on tour ever since then. I've booked 2 movies since then. You know, a couple shows, couple, you know, guest star roles here and there. And then finally, East Lost High came into the picture. I've always been a fan of the show. And mind you, I auditioned for the show the first season.
Yeah.
They don't remember that. So it's so funny how the world ends up coming back around. I auditioned for the first season, and I didn't get the part. I was on hold from it, and I didn't get the part. And then 3rd season comes around, and this character ends up coming to play. And I play an undocumented citizen who's living with his mother, who's very sick, and they don't have enough money to get her the right treatment, so she's dying. And, you know, they're both undocumented, so it talks about the struggles that they have to endure and the fact of hiding and the embarrassment and everything that comes along with being an undocumented citizen. Imagine being an undocumented citizen and having to go through high school and lie to your friends about why you can't go out. So it's just, it was a beautiful, beautiful role. And once I saw that, I was like, man, this is me. This is what I need. While at the same time, we are dancing our butts off. I've always been a fan of Step Up and all those movies that have dance, and I've always wanted to just be a part of a role that can actually, that I can be a fan of, not just because I'm on it. And I ended up finally getting that role, man. I ended up getting it, and I got to represent my people. And now we're in the 3rd season of Hulu, man. I just dropped my first album July 16th. It's called Dreams Don't Become Reality While Sleeping. And basically, the whole album's about my life, man, about the struggle and about everything that, you know, trials and tribulations that I've had to endure. And just to show people that we can coexist in this market. You know, you don't hear about any Latin artists really in the American market. You really don't at all, you know. Not that they're not out there, it's just that there's no chance that's ever given to them. You see a Latin artist, you automatically assume that all they can do is sing in Spanish, even if that's not the music that they do. You know, you look at some actors, you don't really ever see a solid, strong Latin character in any of these shows that are on TV at all. So the fact that this came up, the fact that my album's being put out, I'm just trying to show the regular, honest, humble, hard-working person that goes to high school, that goes to work afterwards, that has a kid, that wants to do something positive in their life, that is doable. It's just that, unfortunately, people like us have to work a little bit harder than anyone else. And there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, we're the ones that are going to make the impact and be the inspiration for others to show that, you know what? There's no way. There's going to be haters no matter what. And that's just the way life is. But there's no way anybody can hate on us for the simple reason that, you know what? This kid has a humble heart. This kid has a good head on his shoulders. And you know what? He's worked for this. I may not like him for whatever reason that I want to make up in my head, but this kid deserves it. And I may not vocalize it and say it out loud because that's what, you know, that's what I mean by a hatred, like, or a hater. You know, not that everyone is a hater, but there's certain people that don't want to give the recognition that some people deserve. But at least your resume and your background and your work ethic will prove, it will speak for itself. You know, humble hearts will prevail. You just sit there and you sit there quietly while the other cocky people do their thing, and then you sit there with a longer resume than anybody who's been around a lot longer than you. So that's my way of doing it, and to show people that, you know what, we can be cool. Being humble and being a good-hearted person is cool nowadays. You know, so
Definitely.
yeah, man.
So you started singing, like you said, you started singing in X Factor. Did you ever imagine that you would end up behind the camera from that point? And do you have any singing parts in East Lost Life?
I always knew, you know, because I acted before X Factor. You know, I had my first movie, We the Party. It was a Mario Van Peebles film. That's the director of New Jack City. That was my first film ever. So I definitely knew that I wanted to continue to tap into my acting. It was just all about getting the right roles, because, you know, nowadays, and you know what I meant by you don't see any Latin actors. There's no parts written for them. It's not that there's not any out there. They're just not writing them, because they think the only movies that we can write about is a movie about Cesar Chavez, or is a movie about undocumentation, or is a movie about, you know, the Latin struggle. Why can't there be a main Latin actor who goes to high school, like the movie House Party? Why can't there be a comedy like Dumb and Dumber where the actor's a Latin actor? Why? Because no one wants to take the chance. So I know that, and I've been knowing that my whole life. And I've always told my people, the odds of me becoming the next face of Superman is slim to none. Not that it can't happen, but through shows like this, we're going to open doors to show people that we are just as good. If not, we can do a better job than anyone else that they would probably have in mind.
Yeah.
It's not that we're not talented. It's just that no one's giving the chances. So when someone in other power or in a higher power, or someone like J-Lo or George Lopez has a show that they're producing or directing, and they're like, you know what, man, I need a strong Latin lead for this, but I don't know who. Who's this? Well, there's this #1 show on Hulu that has an all Latin cast, and there's this one kid in particular that may just be that. Let me see this kid. Boom, done. It's taken care of. And you know, and not even to say that it could be George Lopez or J-Lo. It could be somebody completely different. It could be Spielberg, you know, for his next movie. But you know what? In order to open people's eyes and to open the door for other people, we have to do slowly. We have to do it slowly, and we have to work harder than anybody else. And I'm completely fine with that. I'm from the bottom, and you know what? I work extremely well under pressure, and I'm actually a lot more proud of that. And you know, I wouldn't want to take anything that I wouldn't have to work 3 times as hard than any other person. Que la que hay, mi gente? This is your boy Carlito Olivero. Just want to make a big special shout out to LatinoScoop.com. Much love. Los quiero mucho.